First and foremost, I want to say thank you for coming to the exhibition. I appreciate you taking your time out of your valuable day. My goal for the Threads of Time exhibition is to show that Black family archives in rural Southern communities are more than collections of items. They are sources of information that revealed overlooked history. I focus on cultural themes of identity, forced migration, systematic racism, and exploitation. I encourage viewers to question preconceived ideas and re-examine the assumption that Blackness is a singular culture. It challenges historical assumptions with speculative narratives based on lived experiences and research. Bell Hooks states in her 1995 book, Art on My Mind, quote, "For more Black folks to identify with art, we must shift conventional ways of thinking about the function of art. There must be a revolution in the way we see, the way we look," end quote. I seek dialogue about art's role in this exhibition, building on this idea in a series of way of looking. I focus on the histories of the places my ancestors occupied by examining meaning and collective memory. I want viewers to consider how contemporary discourse sometimes erases or revises the histories of challenges Black communities have and continue to face. This work highlights the significance of history for individuals exploring their ancestral roots, and these archives serve as guiding resources. As a creative, I use visual methods to illustrate this personal journey. I photograph myself with my back turned to the viewer, asking you to look at me looking in these Southern landscapes. This is tied to an 1845 deed and the 1873 addendum documenting my third great-grandfather, Sam Brown, as he purchased 100 acres of land for 100 pieces of gold. While tracing my ancestors' forced migration through visual anthropology, I saw how his identity remains linked to what Audre Lorde referred to as the master's tools. Even in tracing my family's forced migration, my third great-grandfather, Sam Brown's forced migration, I was forced to rely on this record of Robert Gamble Jr. through Robert Gamble's journey, through Robert Gamble's story. So to unveil my third great-grandfather, Sam Brown's story, I had to trace Robert Gamble Jr.'s story. This journey revealed that Robert Gamble Jr. and his family were the enslavers of my third great-grandfather, Sam Brown, who was sold to settle a debt, and that's how we ended up in the Garcetis community. The question in my family has been, where did Sam Brown get 100 pieces of gold? Why would society during Reconstruction allow Sam Brown in deep rural Texas to be able to buy 100 acres in the Garcetis community? These connections we still are investigating, still trying to find answers. I have found that the Gamble family has been this aristocracy that started in Richmond, Virginia, and that Robert Gamble Jr., in search of riches, left Virginia with Sam Brown and other family members and other enslaved members to go to Florida. Robert Gamble built a sugarcane plantation. And through that journey, Sam Brown ended up in New Orleans as property, as chattel, to settle the debts after the Gambles had failed in their sugarcane empire. Along those lines, in this exhibition, Precious Artifacts, a body of work that is a collection of handmade cyanotypes on washi paper or 100% cotton vellum. This use of materiality is focused on highlighting the nature, the fragile nature of legal documents for marginalized communities. It includes the story of Sam Brown as well, which, as stated previously, was my third great-grandfather. He lost that 100 acres of land in the Garcetis community, where he helped establish the Garcetis Freedmen's community, reflecting the widespread dispossession of Black landowners after the Civil War. Through systematic racism and exploitive legal practices, Sam Brown lost the 100 acres of land. That too is a story that we are still investigating and researching. Material Vanity continues these themes by looking at the legacy of slavery and how the cotton industry shaped modern society and its importance on establishing globalization, and how in the rural Gulf Coast region of Texas, cotton became the main commodity that enriched many white Southerners. Drawing on Sven Beckert's research and scholarly work, his book, The Empire of Cotton, helps me examine how cotton gin cooperatives in the rural South particularly illustrate power imbalances in land ownership and labor, reflecting structures rooted in plantation-era systems. These imbalances persist today, affecting equity and fueling continued racial tensions. While the body Decolonized Aesthetics is a body of work that evolved from all of the other work and research from a way of looking, precious artifacts, material vanity, this was the evolution of me collecting objects, particularly the bale of cotton from the cotton gin for which my ancestors toiled. And these cotton fields are the same cotton fields that my ancestors were enslaved in and continued into the mid 20th century picking cotton, including my grandmother, my uncles, my aunts, and many other family members. Decolonized Aesthetics is a series of images which I use a 19th century platinum palladium process to consider how photography once reinforced racist stereotypes of Black bodies, and how the pictorialist movement used aesthetics to both exoticize and romanticize. It addresses unpaid labor and cotton's role in the economy while reframing African diasporic people as individuals with agency. The work references the routes of the Atlantic slave trade, the resulting creolization of multiple cultures, and reconstructs the narrative to present these communities not as property or labor, but as people with control of their own work, their own labor, their own identity, and how they identify in the many cultures that they represent. This project views the Black body and Black agency through the lens of Paul Gilroy's theory of the Black Atlantic.